All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's going well tonight. Yeah, we're just gonna do a couple of things. I want to get my linters done. I wanna get them sorted. I might as well. It's annoying me. It is, yeah, definitely something I want to actually get started. So we're just gonna do that tonight. It's to start off with. And then we're going to continue on with unit testing. So I've had a bit of play around. I've read some stuff. I've even read React sort of testing and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like we can jump into it, get somewhere with it. We've also got a couple of issues that I want to fix up too. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So we're using Prettier. Yeah. And I just want to change a couple of these things and stuff like that. We'll go into the options and look at it. So the basic one, trailing comma. Wait. I need to turn my brain on for a second. Sorry, basic configuration. The JSON trailing comma, tab width is 4. Yeah, we kind of want that. So tab width 4. The trailing comma. I can't spell. I'm guessing it's meant to be true. I don't know what a lot of this. I tell you what, we'll go over into the options and we'll have a look in the options. So tab width, semicolons, print semicolons at end of statements. Yeah, we want that. Default is true. All right, cool. So semicolons, I'm just gonna get rid of that one. Oh wait, we've got it there. We've got semi, what does... I'm just gonna get rid of that. Single quote, true, print width, yep, 4, semicolons. Object wrapper, ooh. Just reached our first ad break too. Alright, cool. So we are joined here today with Socks. There you go, she's looking at the right place now. So yeah, for those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour. That's just to stop the pre-rolled ads on Twitch. Because they suck, but yeah, we tend to do this so no one misses out on any content. There you go, she's just staring off at the wrong place again. Socks up here, yep, there we go. Yeah. We've got to fix up that ad time. It's the ball. Whoop. We've got about 40 seconds left of the ads. Oh, I dropped the ball, didn't I? Okay. About 20 seconds now. Trying to think. All right, welcome back everyone. Let's jump straight back into it. So we've got semicolons, we've got quotes. I'm just going to go all the way up. Try Prettia's new tertiary format before it becomes the default behavior. Questions, tertiaries, simple tertiaries, context, child, and is question. The first one, otherwise default. Case style tertiaries are for change tertiaries. Message equals. No. I mean, I like that. It's pretty easy to read. Yeah, all right, cool. What I'm going to do is sorry, I've been using a Mac all day. I'm going to say true for this particular one. I'm going to put this in the order that's here. And Pitfin, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Yes, Socks is here. You're going to look up here? Yeah, there you go. She doesn't know where to look because I've had the webcam not up there for a long time. Just because I couldn't lift up the monitor. Decided to quickly do that before the stream. Operator position. Start when the binary expresses ref lines. Start and end. I'm going to leave that one. Print min width. Alright, for readability, we recommend against more than 80 characters. In code, style guides, maximum length of rules are often set to 100 or 120. However, when humans write code, they don't strive to reach the maximum number of columns on every line. However, that being said, I am going to put it up to 120 because I think that's a good sort of... yeah, it's just, it comes out over here, so I've got more space to work with. All right, so the tab width. We're doing once again 4. All right, indent lines with tabs instead of spaces. I don't know the default. Default is false. I'm gonna keep the default here. Semicolons. Print semicolons at the end of statements. Yes. Easy done. Quotes. We're gonna do that one. Quote props. Change as properties in objects are quoted as needed. Only add quotes around object properties when required. Consistent. If at least one property in an object requires quotes, quote all property. Preserve. Respect the input. I'm going to keep that as needed. JS quotes. I'm just going to leave that the same. Trailing commas. I'm just going to say ES5. Trailing commas where valid ES5 objects arrays. Trailing. All right, cool. ES5. Easy done for that particular one. Bracket spacing. Print spaces between the brackets of object literals. True. Yeah, that will default that. Object wrap. Yeah, we'll keep that. Bracket line. Now this is the one which I'm probably going to have it like this. I like that sort of style. So I'm going to go true. Well, that's bracket same line. Okay. Easy done. That's deprecated. Okay. Arrow function parenthesis. We're gonna go always. Oh, that should be always. Oops. Like that. Okay. The range. So this is format only a segment of a file. We're just going to leave that as default. Parser. Specify which parser to use. All right, this one, we do have parser. We do have it set to view. Automatically infers the parser from the input file path, so you don't need to have to change the setting. Both Babel and Flow parsers support the JavaScript features. All right, cool. Valid options. Yeah, we do need to do view. Alright. Specify the file name to infer which parser to use. I don't think we need to do that. Sorry, require pragma. Pretio can restrict itself to only formatting files that contain a special comment called prag. No, we won't need that. No. Pros wrap. By default, Pretio will not change the wrapping and markdown since some services use line break sensitive renderers. All right, cool, yep. So we'll keep that by default. HTML whitespace sensitivity. Specify the global whitespace for CSS. Respect the default values of CSS, the display property, use handlebars, and treat them as strict. We'll keep the default view file, script, and style tag indentation. All right, whether or not to indent the code within script style and style tags. By default, it's set to false. I'm a little on the fence about that. Let's have a look. No, let's go to the nav component. Yeah, all right, so it's not. All right, I'm happy to keep it like that. If the linter is specified that it does that, you okay there, Socks? Interline, first available in that. Default change from auto to LF. You'll keep it with, yep. Embedded language formatting. Control whether Predator formats quoted code in embedded file. We'll leave it like that. Single attribute per line. I'm gonna go true for this. Alright, so I can get rid of that now. Alright. So that should do the prettiest stuff. Alright. So I'm happy with that so far. If we go into, for example, this one, boom. Perfect. That's what I want to kind of see. And then that should just automatically change all of that. All right, awesome. We do need to, close nav is never used in the nav component anymore. Touche. Oh. X is defined but never used. Let's get rid of that. We need to deal with those. Okay, oh, sorry, big yawn. Yeah, I need to kind of tell this my IDE that, yeah, these are referenced somewhere. Okay, not a problem. Nav.open is used. It's just we flag it up here. Alright. No, not removing the unwanted. No. Alright. It's annoying when you set the classes up here and so forth like that. Okay. Now, the one problem I will have is, for example, if I go into here and I format it, it just ends up being like this, which is not what we want. So we need to actually work on the TypeScript. How long have you been in web dev? Oh, 6, nearly 7 years. It's been a while. And that's excluding the time I upskilled myself to it. So, yeah. And welcome, Finessery the Nugget. I do hope you are enjoying my content. Now, if I touch my webcam, will socks come running? No, she hasn't. Alright, cool. Alright, so what I gotta do is I gotta tell the linter, hey, don't compress this TypeScript file. So what we want to do is we're going to go prettier TypeScript stop minifying the file. Alright, stop prettier from formatting min files. We don't want quite that. That's just ignore that. So yeah, stop the mini. Alright, ignore all minified files. Yeah, that's not what we want. Ignore a specific. Alright, I'm just going to type up here linter minifying TypeScript file. We don't want that. Just got here, but been in tech world for a little now. No certs yet, but interested in web dev. Beginning my starting point at first job. I think after. Fair enough. We do recommend free code camp here. Give me 1 second. I'm just typing in the command. There we go. I'll also do that on YouTube. Let's open it up on that window, but yeah, I could see that coming. On the top right, you'll see a little menu. You can click on that and just go into curriculum. You don't need to sign in or anything like that. And yeah, you can start like going into here and just go into different courses and so forth like that. I do think I'm zoomed in, that's why I can't see everything. There we go. You got a bunch of different sort of certificates and so forth like that. So yeah. And there's a bunch of articles too. There we go, and you got like CSS, JavaScript, so forth like that. So, yeah. Is it possible to compile TypeScript into minified code? No, I want to stop minifying JavaScript. PyCharm documentation. Here we go. Available to start your free trial. Alright. I don't want to minify the code. That's what keeps happening. No, we don't want any of that. Let's go into prettier. I don't think that's an option at all. It's sort properties alphabetical. Yeah, definitely. That's the route I think I'm going to take. Then focus on HTML and CSS, and then follow it up with JavaScript. Fair enough. Yep. Then learn some backend stuff. Hopefully end up full stack. Fair enough. Yeah. My only other recommendation is just build projects. Something small and tiny. We're talking POC sort of levels, proof of concepts. And just keep building little tiny projects, and then in a couple of weeks come back and redo the first project, because you would have learned a lot in that time, and it's good to come back and be like, oh, I now know how to do it this way. You'll end up making it a lot better and faster too. Alright, I don't think Minify will work in this sort of case. If we do this, yeah, it does that again. Ugh. Alright, so what I want to do, pretty tight script. Alright, cool. Opinionated, coded. Alright, we've done all of that. But what I want to kind of do, I'm going to get rid of this parser one. I'm just going to do the wrong shortcut key. I'm just going to get rid of it. There we go. I think that was it. So now we can format all of our TypeScript too. Hey, get down there. Hey, stop annoying people. She's like, sup? Knocks the camera over. This is what happens when you have a cat. Alright. I'm liking this. We've got to finish off. I didn't get to read up on the internationalization stuff on the weekend, sadly. Yeah, Pip, she's got in trouble again. She got in trouble the other week. She sat on the mouse and keyboard constantly, and I was like, nah, you're going out. Alright, now, another thing which I want to see is plausible. I don't know if it is. Prettier, someone has it there. Prettier plugin, sort imports. Okay, they worked on it last year with some stuff. Alright, note, if you're migrating from 2 to 3, please read the migration. Alright. Not sure what to do for a project yet, but maybe like my portfolio page. Yeah, portfolio pages are good. Just keep it very, very simple and so forth like that. Blogs are also great. You can actually squeeze both of them into one web application, so you can have a portfolio with that's also your blog, or website for merch or something like that. Go ahead, just build something like that. It depends where you want to go. So these are just a couple of tools. You can always do WordPress. Have a look at the Sage WordPress template, because getting WordPress up and running is very, very easy. It depends if you want to do PHP, up to you. But WordPress also has WooCommerce with it, and you can actually create a theme to sort of edit what the theme looks like and so forth like that. You've also got other frameworks too, like Laravel, e-commerce sort of stuff. So you got Laravel, which will have an e-commerce plugin, which then you can sort of modify and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I've never used this one before, so I've used Laravel before. Once again, it's PHP. I haven't used Bagisto. So yeah, those are my recommendations. just because that way you can get the backend sorted and stuff like that and not have to worry about any of that. And then you can focus on all the CSS and the JavaScript and the front end sort of stuff. Yeah. And remember, a lot of what you do is transferable. So if you actually build something here and then later on you're like, oh, I want to build something in .NET, a lot of what you've learned will transfer. So don't worry about that. Lade walks all over my drawing tablet. Oh no. Yeah, Sog's got in big trouble the other week because, yeah, she was just stressing me out too, and I was like, yeah, all good. It is a big journey, but it's also a very fun journey if you love to problem solve. And there's a lot of information out there nowadays for you. So yeah. Also a lot of different sort of frameworks and so forth like that. For example, WordPress has changed drastically within the last 10 years. It's now got React in it. A lot of frameworks out there have changed for the better, of course. They've made some big improvements, so it's always exciting jumping back into these sort of frameworks and finding out what's new. So yeah. And thank you very much for the follow. I do hope you enjoy my content. So yeah. All right, so now I'm a little worried because this says 3 point something something. I don't know how old my prettier is, but we can have a look at our packages list. Go down. Oh yeah, it's 3. All right, cool, easy done. Now another thing is 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. All right, so this package is definitely being used quite a bit. I'm happy for that then. If we were to install it, we would do that. All right, cool. Add an order in the config file. So import order. All right, cool. Yep. Cool. Neat. All right. And you need to actually have it into there. All right, cool. Okay. Oh. So that should turn something like that into something more like that. All right. Which is what we want. Yeah, and be in here every time I have questions. No, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I'll try and help as best as possible. So, yeah. All right. So it can be done. I'm just wondering if there's other packages. And I think they're all recommending that particular one. Yep. All right, cool. All right, easy done. Let's just get it set up then. So in here, we just need to save it. I'm just going to go over here. We're just going to cancel this very, very quickly. Actually, npm install. Say, I think it's just capital D at Trivago, prettier plugin sort imports. That's that travel site, isn't it? npm run, what is it, dev, I think. Okay, so we've just done that. Should copy that one. Oh well. We don't need to worry about that. Add it in here. So we're just going to copy this. What we're going to do is we're going to go back into our prettier. We are going to go import order. which will belong up here like that. What I gotta do is I'm gonna minimize everything. I'm gonna open up this. I think those are meant to match these particular folders. And Professor Logout, how are you going? Hopefully going well. The assets we don't need to worry about. I'm just putting them in there just in case. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an attribute on every single line. Like that. So we've got assets. We've then got components. We've then got router. We've then got stores. I'll have it like that. I think we'll start off with doing it like that. Doing good. Have a week between jobs now to work on side stuff. Nice, which is a lot of fun so far. Neat. What are you building? All right, so that should be fine. Just added in there, import order, sort specifiers true. I'm just double checking what those particular things do. Note there may be an issue with some package managers such as in PNPN or when using Prettier 3.x. You can solve this by providing extra config options in the Prettier config file. All right, so I need to do in here. This will be the do I have the Prettier config file? I think it's just this. All right, not a problem. Sorry. All right, import order. Yep, that's all we need. Default behavior, the plugin moves the third-party imports to the top, which are not part of the import order list. To move the third-party to the. All right, cool. We'll see how it goes. Polishing up some things on my first Go CLI, IQ, and then starting a deepish research session into container build time and image sizes. Nice. Probably a couple of blog posts or new stuff for Tech Playground in between. Nice. Don't forget you can actually, if you do write out the blog post, feel free to put them on our Discord. Because yeah, I wouldn't mind decreasing NearBeach's build time and image sizes and so forth like that. And there's something which I want to get around to improving the whole entire Docker stuff with the 032. Oh, we've just hit an ad break. All right, there we go. Hopefully you got all that. I really need a new webcam soon. That one's very foggy. It's like I've done something inside it. I think it's very foggy there, but you, no, it's equally foggy over there. Fine. No. I'm just gonna ruin it if I touch it anymore. All right. Got about 45 seconds left for the ads, so yeah. I'll be right back in a second. Yep. Wondering what the time is now. It is 7:30. It won't be a long stream tonight. I'm a bit tired. Then again, the last couple of times I've said that, I just hammered through some code and it became 11:30 at night. And I'm like, oh, I've got to get off. So yeah, I don't think I'll survive that much though. All right, about 10 seconds left. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and welcome back, everyone. All right, cool. Yeah, Professor Logout, feel free to post those blog posts in our Discord. So yeah, I will be asking some more questions around how we want to handle the Docker containers soon, because we're going to review them whilst we're doing the 0.32 refactoring. So yeah, oops, sucks, be careful, don't sit on the keyboard. Now I might put the third-party stuff up here. If I have a look at this, oh yeah, that's got to be in something like this. I'm fine with that, that's going to be fine. Ooh, and they're putting all the core stuff up at the top. I'm just gonna pop that up like that. Then they got at servers, at UI. I mean, I'm assuming that's at servers, but tell you what, I'm just gonna copy what they've got. Worst case scenario, it's incorrect, doesn't fit what I need. I can always change it up. So we want to go into nav components. We're just going to go up here. We're just going to, didn't do much at the moment. I might need to connect it up properly. Shouldn't take too long. Containers and infra is my bread and butter these days. Oh, fair enough. Very happy to jump in a bit and talk optimize. My deep research will probably be not too applicable as it's more aimed at orgs doing 100 seconds to hundreds, sorry, not seconds, hundreds to thousands of builds per day. Yeah, so we did some optimization a few years ago. It's been really, really great. However, I do know that if people are using a different database, we've got to include all that packaging and stuff like that. It's more around best practice of that. So yeah, I will write up a little Discord post soon, and yeah, it'll be great to actually get some feedback. All right, so I've just done that. Import object separator, yeah. Oh, that needs to be Boolean value enable or disabling sort of specifiers. Alright, I'm just going to leave it like that for the moment. Yeah. Oops. Oh, all right. Big one coming in. Oh, I might need to get this working with the linter. Now they say do all of this. And then we've got the config file, which we've done, we're happy with. And then, yeah, we need the module export. We need to put that into the plugins. Okay. Ah, there we go. Defined name to do plugins.config. All right, no, it's just plain plugins. Okay, let's this is something like that. All right, cool. Probably broken stuff, all right? Let's not lie. Don't worry, there is an undo. I think. Tell you what, I am just going to copy what they got here. Wait, export default defined with Vue. Alright, no, that's not what we want. Alright, cool. Alright, so. Alright, Socks, you wanna. There we go. That's not what I want. I don't think we need any of that. Additional config options in the prettier config file. All right, let's you can configure prettier via auto repressing prettier keyword in your package or package prettier. Yep. All right. Cool. A prettier key in your package.json. Let's have a look. I mean, we do have that one there. Well, that's finding issues, and that's perfectly fine. We'll fix up all of that. Okay. Package YAML file. So we got that. Yeah, I don't know where they've got this. We're just gonna cheat. Yeah, I don't see anything like that. Damn. All right. We do have format. All right. npm run format. Did I mean trailing comma? Yes, I did. All right, let's fix that one up very, very quickly. That's probably why things are broken, because I can't spell. Not trailer comma. I'm gonna cheat. I'm just gonna copy this. Easy done. We're just gonna paste that in like so. We're gonna hit the format again. Ignored unknown options. All right, so it looks like I haven't set that up correctly. So minify false, we're getting rid of that straight away. We don't need that. Semicolons doesn't work because I probably copied the wrong thing. It's just semi. All right, cool. Easy done. And it's just these two which are unknown, which we'll need to sort of fix up. As you see, it's done a few things. We've got to make it. I mean, we do still want it to format this. But yeah, I want it to also format that properly. Okay, let's just do that. Let's just paste that in. Let's just see what actually happens. Prettier threes, yada yada yada. All right, cool. I'm just gonna open this up. All right, so there's the prettier thing. There's what they've got for the sort order, and there's the error, which switching from prettier to dot like suggested works for me. Closing this issue. All right, I'm happy to do that. It works after adding plugins. Oh, I just need to add plugins. All right, cool. Let's do that. Where's my prettier stuff? There it is. And we are, yep. There we go. I think that works pretty well. Done. All right. There we go. Bit of Google. Fixed our issues. Getting our prettier file all done. All of this is unchanged. So if we go back into like the nav component now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch those around. So we've got computed and then use nav stores. We'll see if it formats back. And does. All right. And there we go. Down here, we can see that it actually it just did it. Cool. I'm liking that. That is working perfectly fine. All right. I'm gonna say we've got prettier working. Now, I'm just having a quick look at the CSS. Okay, that should be all fine and dandy. Yeah, I'm happy with all that. I'm just going to close all of that. I'm going to minimize all of that. I am going to open up that. We've got the source, we've got the stores. I'm just going to have a quick look, gander at this. Yeah, that's looking good. This is just our tests. So we can do a describe, have a before each. All right, cool. All right. Now, next thing I'm going to do, npm run coverage. No, npm run. Oh, we don't have a coverage command in there. Not a problem. Let's actually set that one up. So I'm just going to borrow this. I'm going to go vtest coverage. Let's go straight into it. So I have been playing around with this. We can jump onto my NAS and have a look at what I've done elsewhere, which shouldn't take too long. Famous last words. If I know my... Nope, no, I want the number picker. Actually, I'm just going to move that one to trash. I'm going to paste it again. It's going to cancel that. It's taking that last file a little while. Alright, I'm just going to move that to trash. Oh, it's probably the node files. The public doesn't have anything in it, so I'm just going to move to trash. We've got all of that. I'm just going to go to the terminal. We're going to open up a new tab. We're just going to cd number picker. So here we are. We are first off doing this. Yep, cool. I've got full permission. npm install. We're just installing everything. Ooh, we've got a couple of npm audit. I'm just going to fix those particular issues. npm audit fix. Easy done. What we want to do, npm run to see what we can run. Npm, if we do a test, it'll bring up this. Sorry about the brightness. I wish it will default to this, but it doesn't. But we've got like a simple sort of test suite. I've got a bunch of tests on here, which I've just done. This is just I was playing around with this a lot to make sure that this works. So, what I want to do, I want to exit out of that. I'm going to go npm run to see everything again. We've got npm coverage. npm run coverage, I should run. So once again, it sets something up and then it will create a coverage report. So if we go into here, we've got sites, we've got the view test bed, we've got the number picker tests, we've got the coverage. If we open up this HTML, I'm going to do that. I don't think I can put this into dark mode, sorry. Yeah, there's no way that I can do this in dark mode, but as you see, this is our sort of test coverage and stuff like that. So if I go into the components and the number picker, we can see what lines it didn't actually hit. So it never hit these particular lines because the button disappears before we actually hit those particular lines. Yeah. I don't know how I would be able to hit that. And then again, it's like one of those things where you would have to assume. I'm trying to think how I would tackle that. Because it's definitely not the user clicking on stuff normally for them to get there. But yeah, that's what we kind of want to set up. And we want to get this done right. I can now close this. Cool. I'm just going to close this one. We've just got this one. This is fine enough. All right. So we've got the coverage. I think we're using V8. What we need to do is we've got V-test coverage. I'm just going to close all of these. We're going to go down here, V-test coverage. So this is pulling everything in. We've got the coverage. We've got the exclude for the tests. What we also want to do up here is do another exclude. This is for the coverage. We want to go config defaults.coverage. Oops. Dot exclude. Like so. I think I mucked that up. We want to exclude end-to-end, everything under end-to-end, easy done. We also want to exclude everything under source, that is main.ts, because that's the entry point of everything. We don't need to test that whatsoever. That's it for the moment. Don't know why that's failing. I'll tell you what, I am going to see, this will be the number picker. And hello Sherry, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. How's the weather? I'm assuming it will be getting very cold in Tokyo at the moment. How is Koo going? Alright. And also Socks is here. She's like, hello. What was I doing? I don't know. I was vimming into the Vite test file very, very quickly. I'm just double checking what I've got. Exclude. Yeah, I've got it like that, and that worked perfectly fine on my version. I've got the config defaults. Coverage exclude. I'm just going to copy that just in case I've done a spelling mistake or something like that. Yeah, that's working. Is the ID just having a problem? Which could actually happen. So we're going to exclude that particular file for the moment. Otherwise, everything else we want to include. Not good today? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Because I was playing baseball yesterday. All right. Yeah, you definitely can complain about that. Ouch. So, yes. And I keep forgetting the Yakus. Hang on. I should know this word by now. Detect language. We want to go into Japanese. Yaku? Yaku. I'm hoping it doesn't hurt tomorrow. I'm assuming you're also icing it up, so. Damn. So. Alright, we also need to put this one in because we're going to use the V8. So I'm sure I'm using the V8 here. Yeah, I'm using the V8 there. So what we'll do, we'll npm install that. All right. I think I need to update my V-test. I think they did a release a little while ago, and I just need to update it. Not a problem. All right, V-test. No, that's that version. What I can do, I'll just quit out of here. We're just going to we'll edit the package. Not the lock. No, not the lock. Whoops, that's my bad. Package.json. What we can do, V-test. They're using. All right, cool. Yes, I have. I've also once was riding my bike as a kid, and the bike stopped and I didn't, and let's just say I collected myself on the handlebars. That wasn't fun. But my father could not stop laughing. Alright, so what's happening is, whilst resolving this, the V-test of that version could not resolve V-test coverage V8 from the root project. Alright, cool. Conflicting peer destiny from coverage V8 at that. Alright. Alright, what I'm going to do, we're just going to read the documentation for this. So we are using V 4.8. Yeah, we should be doing that. Oh, there is a way to actually update, to plug npm update, isn't there? we did this the other day, and I was like, for years I was doing it the long way. Alright. Alright, that's taking me way too long. I am just gonna Google this. npm update all packages. To do.
Be that front or back?
Oh, they're in my garage.
Right.
Yeah. All right. To do npm outdated. All right. Cool. npm outdated. I think we just fixed it all up. Ooh. All right. To do npm to update all dependencies if you're comfortable. Oh, cool. It is npm update. In here, what we'll do is types.js DOM. Okay. Yeah, all right, cool. No, I'm using those. Cool. So npm update at types.js DOM. I didn't want to update that. No, it didn't. All right, so it is 27.0.0. This other one, types node, is 22.19. The latest one is 24.10. The ESLinked plugin, view. Oops. ESLinked plugin, view. So we've got it at 10 for today. So all right, it's 10.5.1. That's not too bad. And then the view next. Oh, all right. 5.5.3. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. Cool. Now all we need to do, npm install again. That will install everything that we want. Cool. All of those warnings should just disappear. Sweet. So, excuse the sudden flashbang. If we go back into here, let's see if we can now install this. So we've got this, we're going to save it as a dev dependency. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. There we go. So yeah, we only had the issue before because it conflicted with a older version of one of the packages we had. Yeah, considering this is a mock-up, I'm happy to keep this rolling updates happening. All right, we have just reached an ad break. All right, cool. For those on YouTube wondering actually what's happening, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch so that people don't have pre-rolled ads because they suck. Yeah, we do this so if anyone joins the channel, they won't be served ads right away. They see the content and then yeah, every half an hour this happens. So yeah. Hopefully everyone's going well today. It's a bit rainy outside where I am. So we have not had any spring weather, which is a bit of a disappointment because most of my garden has, yeah, it's none of the summer stuff is growing, which is annoying. So I've got tomatoes which are about this big at the moment, but when they would usually be like a full bush at this time. So yeah, it's annoying me. My corn is at least this big. Some of the corns are this big. So yeah, I've got to have a look into that. So yeah. And almost ready, about 5 more seconds of ads. And then we'll get straight back into it. Alright, welcome back everyone. So, we've got all of this installed now. So we're just going to use the V8 provider. It is the recommended option to use. There's no transpile step, and so forth like that. A bit of no sun, a lot of rain. So at the moment, Australia's getting hit by 2 wet fronts. I saw this, it's probably going to be buried in the news section right now. I mean, we can, I don't want to trust that. So yeah, it's getting hit on the west side and on the east side, and it's just been very cold here lately. So yeah, I've had the heater on in November, which is I've never done before. So yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it is a very British spring. I kind of wish I put carrot seeds in my garden, because they would have loved the wetness, and they would be sprouting by now and stuff like that. Instead, I've been like, no, I won't put them in. I've just pulled all my carrots, and I'm just like, at least I would have had something growing. So yeah. Oh well. Yeah, it's just wet. Alright, I'm going to copy this coverage line, and what we're going to do in the package socks. Damn. She's been naughty. She's like jumping up, causing issues. Alright. Oh yeah, don't forget to drop everyone. I am going to drop, Judgmental Lily. She's judging Socks's ability of knocking off the, oh wow, 93.42 pip. Damn, that's a pretty good score. Alright, let's go into here. We're going to go npm run coverage. I'm going to see if this works. So it should open up this. Ooh, we got a test fail straight away. Oh no. Not a problem. So what I'm going to do, npm run test. Oh, npm run. I'm going to see what the proper command is. It's test unit. npm run test unit. Oh, anyway, have fun. Bye. So I'll put on dark mode for everyone. I do apologize for that sunlight. It's because I'm missing the sun itself. As long as I do better than the bot, yeah, I think he cheats. It's because it comes down every single time at the same time, so it's got the same seed number. It's just like, oh man, it's always winning. Alright, so we got an assert error here. Expected true to be false, object equal. So expected false but received a true. Sweet, that's not a problem. What we want to do is we just want to go over into our code and fix that. So I'm just going to close all tabs. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to open up this. We're going to go source. This is part of the app. So it will be under here. So we've got the app, and then we've got the app mobile view. Test page on load mobile. So we're defining the width of the window to be 300. And then, yeah, all right, cool. This might be a case of I might not be able to do this. I'll get this test done. Okay. For the moment, I'm just going to comment out this test. We're going to come back to it. We're going to fix it tonight, hopefully tonight. Fingers crossed tonight, because it is something I do want to test. And what we're going to do is we're going to close this. We're going to go quit that. We're going to run the tests. We're going to put on this, and we've got 100%. Sweet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go npm run coverage. It's going to open up Chrome by itself. It's going to close Chrome, but it also gives us all of this coverage, which is what we want. We're going to open up this. We're going to open up our... We're in the wrong one. We're going to open up this, and we're going to hit this index HTML. And once again, I do apologize. There is no dark mode. Oops, I didn't want wave. I thought I had. There we go. I can kind of put this on. So straight away we can see source is about 83%. We've got source header, which is going to be pretty much nothing. Yeah, we don't hit any of those particular functionalities. This is fine. We'll fix this up in a minute. So if we actually go into source, we've got the app view, which is actually looking pretty good. So we've got 83% of the stuff done. There's 5-6 branches. We've got about 50% of the branches done. The functions are 100% sweet. The lines of code about 80%, which is pretty good considering we don't have any tests in there. What I've done is very, very simple. All this test does is it makes sure that it opens stuff. Yeah, just make sure it renders stuff in. So before each, we set the pinner, we test mounts and renders. So we've got the wrapper, we've got a shallow mount, which we won't end up doing. We'll probably be doing a proper full-on mount. We'll be copying what I did with my number picker example. Just because, yeah, I've got that fully... yeah, I'm happy with how I've done the test on that one. Alright, so let's go back over here. I'm going to open up this one. We are going to... Oh. I'm going to quit. Not save anything. We're just going to vim. We should see our source, and then we should see our app. And we just want the spec and the TypeScript. So we're just going down here. As you see, we've got the mount. We expect that to be truthy, and then we're expecting a couple of lines to appear. So we're going to actually copy that. We're going to go over here. We're just going to go down here. Now that's actually as a single test, so we're going to do that. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what happened then. We're just going to say mount component. We're also going to bring all of that back up there. I'm going to get rid of this. It's fine. We don't need it. We do need the mount though. So up here, we just need the mount. That's going to be perfectly fine. We're not... I don't know when this stuff came in, but we'll get rid of that. Oh, I think... Oh wow, alright. That is very annoying. We'll ignore it for the moment. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to close my curtains just because it is actually dark here now. And I've just realized my YouTube streaming. I just need to reload the page. I'm terribly sorry if I've missed any chats or anything like that. realised that the page just crashed. So let's go to stream health. Yep, it's all healthy. Cool. Timelines match up. Sweet. Oh, nearly dropped the headphones. That would have been embarrassing. Alright. So, straight at the bat, what do these lines do? We're just doing a simple mount component. The test is to mount the component and then read something off the page. That's all we're doing. So we've got async, easy done. So we expect the app to be truthy, sweet. We're then sending a wrapper where we mount stuff through. We're not passing down any options because I don't think our app has any. So we don't have any props or anything like that in here. So I'm very happy with that. Don't sit on the keyboard. And then this will fail because we don't have anything on there like that. And that's perfectly fine. They expect wrap.html to match snapshot. Yeah, that should work. I don't know how to set up the match snapshot, so that will be something that we learn at a later date, but that's in there at the moment. All right, if we run this, so if we go back over here and we just go npm run test unit, it's going to fail. We know this. So the mount component didn't work. If I open up this so you guys can actually see, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. It's going to say, cannot read properties of undefined, reading path. We've got skip links. And if I click that, oh, let's open up something. All right. So it's got a watch, it's got the focus. So in the skip links, it's like reading path. Oh. Yeah, I know socks. Yes, you're gonna have to ask Pip very nicely for some treats. Okay, I didn't realize this actually pops up. Piss off. I didn't realize this pops up. Cool. So, skip links has an issue. There you go, socks. You're getting treats. For those on YouTube wondering what happens, on Twitch we've got viewer rewards where the longer you watch you get points and you can spend those points to help feed socks. She does get fed. You can give her treats. She acts like she never gets fed. Though she's got a bowl, 2 bowls full of cat food at once. Alright, in your bed. Oh, we got 2 cats now. Oops. Yeah, you know what's happening, socks. Yeah, you know what's happening. Whoop. Yep, no, go that way. Okay. I think that's it. Yep. We'll go to the secret screen. In your bed. In your bed. Yes, I know. You can stare at me all you want, but in your bed first. There it goes, socks. Point means treaties, yep. Max is also getting some treats. He's come in. So yeah, he has gotten some treats. Yeah, she is very, very gorgeous. She still has her winter coat. So if she flashes the tail, you can see she's got a really thick, bushy tail at the moment. There we go. Yeah, she's also wanting to flash more than her tail. just because it's been so cold, she hasn't lost it yet, and I'm going to dread once the heat comes, because if all of a sudden it's like high 20s for a week, she's going to lose all that fur right away, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fluff. Yeah. Alright, so the route.path might not exist in this sort of case, so I think I've got to mock that up with these particular tests. And I think that's what is missing. So we've got 11.9 and then 5.10. Back to top dot value dot focus. Alright. So this is part of the skip links. Mine is just starting to go into winter mode already during the shredders spring, yes. I used to have another cat called Empty Amber, long time ago, like back when I first started streaming. She would have what we called bisons. So if you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, alright, bison. So yeah, we used to joke because she'll be sitting there and then she'll have a little sneeze or something like that, and a bit of her fur would just float off her and just float around the room, much like the bison from Avatar. So we started naming them bisons. Alright, I'm just going to close that coverage. What I want to do is I want to go view test mock routing, mock router. And what we're going to do is testing view router. We're not testing the router per se, we're just mocking it. I think that will be the solution in this sort of case. I'll go to the code to show why. So if we go into the components, this will be part of I got the app view open. No, I don't. There we go. Now I've got it open. We've got the skip link. So at components, skip links. So yeah, the fur and spring is the worst. Yes, yes. I haven't had it yet. I remember, like this is going back 15 years or something like that. So in September, I used to have a cat called Eva Ginger. Every September she would just lose so much fur, and I would just be coated in it, and I just didn't know what to do. And it was like all this ginger fur on a white t-shirt. So, all right. What's happening here is we're watching the route path. All right, and then we're doing that too. Now, I don't know. Yeah, now I remember what happens. So, when a person changes the page, this will actually happen. So, there is a back to top somewhere in the code. There we go. Back to top. That then becomes in focus. And the idea behind this is it's meant to be for accessibility, so screen readers and so forth like that. So if someone changes the page, it goes all the way back up to the top, and then the user will be able to easily navigate the menu again, or they can skip it. So because it's up at the top, the next sort of command would be to do something like that, and the user can skip and go straight into the content, which is part of the main. Now, we need to mock the route to state that, hey, we're actually on this particular page, because this is a unit test. It doesn't know anything or anything like that. So it's failing here because of that. And this one little component is hard. We will be adding unit tests to this, but it'll be pretty simple. All right, sorry, I'm getting distracted again. We need to mock the router. So, using Vue router, which is more of a production-like, but also made to when testing larger applications. Using a mock router allows for finer grained control of the testing environments. Yep. So there might be also cases where we might want to test what's rendering on the app and so forth like that. So a good example would be like if we go to a certain page, that page is going to be showing. All right, notice that the Vue router utils doesn't provide any special functions to assist with testing components that rely on the Vue router. All right, cool. So we've got a component equals all of that. Yep, it's cool methods. Yep, all right, sweet. So we've got the mount allows. All right, cool. Mock router equals push. Now we're not using jest. So what I want to do is we test Vue router mock. And I'm going to skip through this question straight to the answer. All right, cool. So what they're doing is mock router push, vi function, vi mock Vue router async return router view to do push mock. Describe when navigates to screen to click. All right, hang on. Vue router mocking. All right, cool. This is just doing the research now. Installing Vue router in tests. So yeah, we could do the shallow mount, but I don't want to. Should never install Vue router on the Vue base constructor test. Installing Vue router adds route and router as read-only properties on the Vue prototype. To avoid this, we can create a local Vue and install Vue router on that. Vue router via Vue from to do. All right, cool. This is also looking like a very old Vue test. So I'm probably going to close that and go back to this one. So they're using jest. All right, wrapper, mount component, props is authenticated true, global, mocks, route, mock router, mock. All right, cool. Mock route equals params ID1. Okay. We're just gonna have a little play around. See if we can get it to work. I'm not gonna have any params. All right, using a real router. Now we've seen how to mock a router. Let's take a look at using a real Vue router. Let's create a basic blogging application. Vue router, list on the post route. All right, cool. So the posts, all of that data returned. Yep. So the routes, that component. All right, cool. Yep. Path, posts, component posts. All right, cool. So it looks like I just need to implement just what I need. And then the route. All right, history, create web history, routes. All right, export routes, export define routes. Okay, yep. The best way to illustrate how to test an app using VueRoute is to let the warning guide ask the following is the minimal test to get us going. So test routing, cons wrapper, mount app, expect wrapper.html to contain welcome to the blogging. Yep, all right, cool. View warning failed to, yep, router link and router view. Create route, routes at routes. This import should point to your file declared above. Oh, yep, all right, cool, yep. Router equals create route, history, yep, routes, yep, cool, we'll do that. Global plugins, and then we've got our routes, and then, all right, sweet. So when we mount, we should mount, but there's another warning, console warning into the unexpected error when starting the route, type error, can't read property history of null. All right, cool. So let's step back a little. Let's close that. Let's also open up our routes. And we've got our index. So we should be exporting a router. Yep, that creates the route. So we've got all of our routes in here and then export default router. All right, sweet. Now we do have the web history into there. All right, sweet. So I'm gonna go into here. We're gonna go import routes from at source, and then we need router. I've marked that up. Router, there we go, and then index.typescript. Easy done. We'll just put that like that. So we'll need to also create route and create web history in there. So I'm just going to put this up here. Import create route and create web history from VueRouter. Yep, cool. We're just going to do that. Now I know that's going to add in a bunch of stuff into there. I'll fix that up later. Actually, no, that's going to drive me nuts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down here. I'm just going to go false, see if that works. No, it still adds them in. Okay, not a problem. We'll just ignore it for the moment. Oops, that opened. Didn't want that. MTN run format. Oh, I didn't format that. I'm not going to worry. Okay, so didn't we just have an ad? Oh, how time flies. All right, cool. Sorry, ad break in progress. There we go. I've got a cube to mess up. Socks likes to run away whenever the treats have been given to her, because now she's like, all right, cool, that's it. I got what I wanted. I'm out of here. So long, suckers. All right, cool. Let's just do that. I'm a bit slow tonight. Alright, almost done. We've got about 20 seconds left for the ads to go. Cool. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. Yeah, I'm getting a lot done. Oh, there you go. There's socks. she probably heard the word treats again. And she's like, I want more treats. More treats. All right, welcome back, everyone. All right, let's get back into this. So, we got that. We're currently happy with that. Someone's sitting on my hand. So, we've got those two. So, we've got to essentially copy that one in. So, I believe I can do it in the before each. So, we can set something like that up. Oh, this is not formatting anything correctly in this file whatsoever. I don't know why it's so ruined. Alright, I'm going to have to play around with the linter again. Actually, is this going to happen in... it happens at the outside of everything, so it becomes more of a global, or a global. Alright, I'm just going to paste that up there. We're all fine with that. If I do that like that, that should be fine. Fingers crossed. We do need to do router push in our test. So in our test, what we want to do, make sure the app exists, but before we do it, router push, we want to go router.push, and we're just doing that. Easy done. That just states that we're going to that, just the dashboard. And then we've got to do the await router is ready. All right, cool. Await router dot is ready. So here it's going to be load the basic dashboard page. Easy done. We're all happy with that. We've got the app exists. Yes. And then, yep, cool. From here, we're checking that that's going to be truthy. Easy done. We then wrap everything in. We don't need the options for this, but we do need global plugins. Actually, we do need options. Sorry. So, global plugins, and this is going to be router, I do believe. Yep, router. And all of this will work. This will fail, but we're expecting that. All right, we know that's going to fail, and I'm happy for that to fail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the format again. It's just going to do everything. It hasn't actually done the tests. Cool. Annoying. But it's done the CSS. Oh no, it did the test. Here we go. So we go back over here. Yeah, there it goes. So I should run the formatter and not the IDE's linter. That's easy. All right, what I want to do, mpn run test and then unit. It's going to bring up the Chrome stuff again. Do apologize. I'm going to quickly do that. Now we do have a problem. So if we just let's just filter for the failed. Let's just zoom in. Let's open up this. Failed to import test file. Oh. Alright. I've broken something. Broken something. So we're just going to go into here. Now... that might actually be that instead. Yeah, I've probably messed up a bit. All right. What can I say? Huh. does it want it like that? No. Alright, no, not a problem. Ah! I hate when I hit the escape and it doesn't do anything. Alright, I'm gonna leave it like that. That's failing. Alright, let's have a quick gander at that. So if you type router is missing the following type, read only route record raw. Alright, so I've done something probably horrible with this. So we've got router. I probably know what I've done wrong. Oh, I can't name it. Ah, damn it. Okay. Let's see what they've done. Okay, so they've got const routes. So if we go in here, we've got const routers. They're doing all of that. Yep, oh, okay, cool. Yep, no. And then they've got the router, and then they've got the create route. Alright, no, I see what's happening. Alright, cool. I can get this, I can fix this up. So, I'm just got to get rid of that. We are going to define the routes. And we're going to go const routes equals something like this. We're going to do that. We're going to cut from here. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Alright, we're going to format this in a little bit. Don't worry about this. This looks horrible, but it will be formatted. Then down here, they got this export routes, like so. And then export default router. Cool. So if we go into here now, we've got routes from at, and then we've got router, and then we've just got the index.ts. I think that will... like so. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to, oops, we've got everything running like a madman that we are. I'm going to format everything first, just so it looks nice. And then we're just going to run those tests again. I wish there was, all right, just give me a couple of seconds. That is really annoying me. vtest default dark mode. I think it's going to be a config. Dark. No. vtest dark mode, default dark, browser dark mode. Yes, socks. Yes. Alright, I'm just gonna search for dark. No, there's no dark mode in there. Okay. Going back into here. VTest UI guide. VTest UI, yep. The UI is interactive and requires running a Vite server. So make sure, yeah, all right, cool, yeah, all that kind of fun stuff. Reporters, HTML, yes. Out directory, yes. All right, cool. But I want it dark mode. Oh, sorry. Ooh. Leaving this here if you're curious. Currently using NearBeach Docker as my example for creating some build time analysis tool that is builder agnostic, and thought you might find this cool as a maintainer as well. Yes. Okay. Build bench generator. Oh, cheers. Thank you. Cool. Cache Jason. All right. Yes, thanks. Awesome. Thank you very much, Professor Logout. So, yeah. Alright, import to via test. Alright, I need. What is this called? Via test browser. Alright. That's not how the default browser dark mode setting, but you can achieve this. So, browser.theme. Alright. I don't know why that's doing that. So, instance browser, Chromium, and then what I want to do, theme dark. Okay, test browser. All right. Yep. Oh, piss. Got this running. Hang on. All right. Was it on here? No, I killed it. So, instead of test, all right. It is actually. Don't know if that will work. If the test enable true, yep. Theme dark browser. Yeah, browser. Yep. That's an object. That's a string. Yep. Clear and concise description of the problem. Every time I run the browser, I manually click on it when it would be nice. All right, test theme. All right, cool. Oh, all right. This is rather new. But yeah, I think the AI hallucinated a response. Yeah, that's not going to work. All right. I'm gonna get rid of that. Because that's wrong. I don't know why that's throwing up an issue still. Alright, cool. Okay, mount component didn't work. Expected skip to main. Content close navigation to contain you have selected 0. All right, yeah, perfect. All right, so it's failed where we want it to fail. What I'm going to do, I'm going to close this npm run build. Oh, sorry, I should npm run dev. We have an error though. Config defaults. All right, cool. Alright, we'll get rid of that then. There we go. All right, let's open up this. I'm just going to go and copy that link. I'm going to go over in here. So I'm going to move that because that should be like that. Yep, sweet. I'm going to paste that in. We're just going to do this. So we should see dashboard on there. We should see it twice. And what I want to do is I want to, in the app spec test. So we want to go down here. We've got text to contain. And we've got dashboard. Now, it's going to pop up no matter what. We're actually not properly testing to make sure it's this that's popping up. We've got dashboard, Kanban board, and all that kind of stuff as nav items. What we want to do is we want to go vtest. So I'll just make sure I'm using the wrapper. Where I define the wrapper. That's part of mount. And mount is part of test utils. All right, cool. So we want to go into view test utils. And what we want to do, header. All right, h1, tag. All right, heading text. No. All right, I'm just gonna a crash course. Let's just jump into that. So we've got that to-dos, script, easy done, to-dos, wrapper, to-dos, to-do text. Yep. All right, cool. Ooh. Okay. We could potentially do that. All right. So I'm just going to paste this down here. It's just there for reference. And what we want to do is we want to go const headings, header 1 equals wrapper.find. And yeah, we're just going to go a header 1 there. Easy done. What we want to do is expect heading dot length or count, I should say, sorry. Ooh, all right. I'm gonna go find all. Dot length to be 1. So we just got one header. And then expect, I should say all headings. I'm just going to ignore that for the moment. All right, all headings, length to be 1, expected to do. All right, cool. And then what we want to do is I am just to make sure there is only one heading. Okay, cool. Test to make sure we have landed on the correct page, correct dashboard page. All right, cool. So we want const heading equals all headings dot 0, and then expect heading dot text to be, and then it should say dashboard. We will be happy with that, and then match snapshot. All right, cool, easy. Heading is possibly undefined, so we should always give it a little question mark. That will just make that undefined, which will fail. So I'm happy for that. We're just running the dev tool at the moment. Now that's perfectly fine. We'll just cancel out of that. We'll run the test unit. We'll put this on, and now we've got our mount component working. So all tests ran perfectly fine. Oops, dropping the cube. So we know this will work. And what we could do with the app itself is we can test the routes at this level. So we could potentially go to every single other route. We can do that. Make sure that the routes get rendered out correctly just by sort of checking to make sure the heading is done correctly. But we're not going to do that today. So I'm happy for that being a good app test. Now we've got to test the mobile. Sorry, I screwed up then. All right, so we've got an app mobile view. We've got the nav store. What I want to do is I want to go back up here, import the use nav store from. Let's go do that again. Use nav store. There we go. Done. That's failed. Which, yes, it failed. What we've got to do is we've got to figure out how we can set the screen size. The reason being is that actually has something to do with our business logic. A good example is when someone will load up NearBeach on a mobile phone, the menu won't appear by default. I should say not the menu, the nav bar will not appear by default. So yeah, we just need to get rid of it. Alright, cool. So let's go over here. I'm just going to close all of this because we've pretty much solved all of that. I'm going to close 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 that. I'm going to open up that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go v-test set screen width. I'm going to scroll down. So using Jest and Amazon, you can do the following. Jest has JSON DOM. All right, we're not using that though. But it'll be component and then global dot inner. Yeah, we don't have global dot inner or anything like that. Oh. Yeah, all right. Browser mode guide. Not what we want. Ooh, sorry. What we might do, view test, set screen width. Okay, we're just going to do that so you guys can read. So I'm just going to scroll down. In this case, green is window.screen, which is the instance of window.screen. Cool. In both browsers, Jest simplifies. All right, cool. But we're not using Jest. That's the problem. We are using Vite. All right, let's use this. Browser, viewports. All right, know what we want. All right, is there such a thing as page? Only one way to find out. So what we want to do, import page from @view. Now, I'm actually just going to copy this line. I don't think it actually exists. So we're just going to paste it in like that. Apparently it does. All right. We're just going to go down here. We're going to comment out this. We're going to go test. So we mount component on. All right, no. What we want to do, mobile view. Nav bar should close automatically. Alright, cool. Easy done. So what is that saying? We should just do test it should be async. Yep. Alright, cool. Await page viewport. Page.viewport. I am just going crazy. And then they've got the 400 by 600. What we're going to do, we're just going to go up here and we're just going to go that. We're just going to go into this mode. We're just going to go 375. 375 by 812. Okay, easy done. The next thing that they do is they do the test of the logic and all that kind of stuff, and then exec like, all right, cool. Yep. All right. Not too worried about it at the moment. So from there, we've got the await page, viewport page. Otherwise, something like that. I don't know if that will work. Alright, no, that won't work. Alright, where is this one from? This is from VTest. VTest page viewport. By default, will automatically open the browser UI for development. Your test will run inside an iframe. In the center, you can configure the viewport by selecting the preference. All right, calling it page.viewport inside the test, or setting the default values in config. Have we really reached another half an hour? Holy hell, I'm just... Alright, I didn't feel like there was half an hour since the last ad. But yeah. Anyway, we are getting there. Alright. So yeah, once I sort of finish up how I'm going to test things and stuff like that, yeah, we just continue on with the design of the new NearBeach. So yeah. Alright, almost done. There we go. Yeah. We've got about 30 seconds left of ads. So for those on YouTube, yeah, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. Stop the pre-rolled ads because they suck. So yeah, you get to see me for a little bit. Over cube, sometimes socks, just right here. It's a bit confused at the moment. She's like going, what? Hello. So yeah, about 10 seconds left. Alright, welcome back everyone. Alright, getting back into this. So, I'm assuming that's just setting the page and all that kind of stuff, and then what we want to do is we still want to do the wrapper. We still need to do this. So we actually need to put that one in. So the before each, we still need the router stuff in there too, which we'll be happy for. Essentially, we'll need all of this. So yeah, we're going on the home page. The router is ready. Expected app to be truthy. Then we got the wrapper, and then I actually don't know if we I don't think we need the mount in this sort of case. We just need to do it like this. Yeah. I think it's going to be like that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think but we're not yeah, I don't think this will work. Oh, that's fine. We can get out of that. We can just quit this. We can test the units again. Yeah. Let's go into dark mode. If I click on that, it expected false and received true. Yeah, I don't think it's... Okay, not a problem. This could be something that I just don't know. So, Pinya unit tests. What we want to do, bang that like that, go down here. So before each set active Pinya, we're doing that. It equals use counter store, expect counter to be counter increment. All right, cool. Increment that, so counter use count. All right, so that's actually testing a store itself. In this sort of case, what we want to do is we've got an app, so const app, create app. You don't need to create one app per test. All right, cool. Yep. So that's create app from Vue. Oh, all right, sorry. Okay. Unit testing components, which is what we need to do. And I think we need to actually get that installed. So I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to quit that. I'm going to quit that. And I'm just going to install it just in case we haven't installed it. Cool. We already have. So make sure. All right. This is the component itself, I think. So we're wrapping mounter, plugins, create test plugin, Pinya. Store name, Pasha. All right, use counter store. All right, so we do need a wrapper. Well, it looks like we do need a wrapper. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo all of that. We still need, in this sort of case, what we need to do, make sure the app has loaded. Just going to do that. In this sort of case, we just need to find header 1. We don't need all headings. We'll just go header. And then in here, we need to go expect header.text to be a dashboard is done. That just means that we know it's all loaded and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know if I need to be await there. I think, no, it's definitely not that. All right. So I'm happy with that, and then what we've got to do is make sure the nav is not open. Yeah, we've got to do that. All of that will be gone by now. Hoping this works. So yeah. Fail. Mobile viewport fail. Navbar should close automatically. So yeah, it's expected false, but it got a true still. If we go into here, we have a look at the 320 to the 375. All right, damn. All right. Wondering what data I have access to here. Yeah, all right. In the video, mock up like so, viewport equals, alright, cool. No, not what I want. Object.assign, global screen, height 800. You only need one change. All right, cool. Global screen. Oh, let's try that. All right. Three, 7, 5. Oh, whoops. 3, 7, 5. Now, global's not working. All right, global config. No, not what I want. Oh, sorry. Oh. Giraffe mount global. All right, hang on. Oh, I keep hitting 265. Yeah, I don't think that will work. Honestly, I think that's just going to error out with our tests. Assert error. Expected true to be false. All right, yeah. Damn. All right. JavaScript prop in a alert. All right. No. This has nothing to do. All right. Set explicit. Yep. All right. This is VueTest.dev. This is the latest one. Why visual registration? Visual bugs don't throw any errors. They just look wrong. That's where visual testing comes in. The button still submits the form. Yep. All right. Cool. Text fits perfect. All right. Cool. Getting started. So we want the page. This is what I needed. Test hero section looks correct. So async to there. Await, expect, get page. All right. The rest of the text, capture and compare screenshots. All right. Not exactly what I want. I want to actually have so define config. Yep, we've got playwright, browser, Chromium. We've got a viewport. Honestly, don't know how to solve this. All right. Yeah. I mean, this ran perfectly fine. This one particular test. But, yeah. Alright, looking at the code. Go through everything. And the idea is, if I close this, wait, and I go npm run dev, we just run the dev. I'm just gonna copy that link. We can go over here. We can just paste it in like this. The idea being, notice how the nav bar pops up by default. If we actually go into a mobile view and we refresh, it doesn't. The idea being is when you're in a mobile view, you don't need that menu open by default. If you've got enough space, sure, that will work. And that's what I kind of want to throw this test out, because we've got some business logic around this. Another example would be when you click on a menu item or something like that, it will actually close the menu. which will be pretty cool. So yeah, might be one of those sort of cases where I might need to mock the screen size in, or I don't know. Yeah, it's just mock screen width. That's for jest. But we're not using jest. Alright, before each object define property. Alright. We're going to do that at 375. I'm just going to remove those because they're not needed. All of that should fall through. And if we test as unit once again, it fails. Straight away. Alright, I'm just gonna check screen width. I don't think this is, yeah. What I'm going to do do that, and then that should 375. All right, so all tests pass. So before each, set that object define property window inner width. All right, we of course have something breaking. Let's find out what. But first, npm run format. Just get everything looking really, really nice. We're going to run the tests again. So they pass everything. And what we're going to do, I'm going to put that onto dark mode for everyone, is we're going to go over here and we're going to open up the app. And on mounted, if the window screen dot width, and that might be it. I might be. All right, that's not working. Don't know where I got 14 from. I am just going to go over here. What we're going to do is we're going to play around with a little bit of JavaScript. I'm just going to close all of that. And what I want to do, window.inner width 375. All right. This could be window.screen.width 375. Now they should match. Yes, they should. I mean, it could be the case that up here we've got the wrong width. And it should be inner width. Like so. Now, that might have been it. I might have just had the wrong attributes used here. Now, I'm going to bump that off to the right. What we're going to do, we're going to close this. We're going to run format first. Make sure we format everything. We're then going to run, not the unit test, sorry, bad me. All right, cool. npm run dev mode. So we're going to go over here. We're going to refresh. Boom. Perfect. That's how we want it to behave. When we're on this mode, boom. Perfect. That's how we want it to behave. So window inner width is what we want. Now, another thing which I know actually happens, and we're going to test this with the nav bar itself. If we go into the nav component, we don't actually have any. It might be the nav bar menu item. If we go up here, we've got all of that. And this is another one where we need to change it. 800 milliseconds is not a lot, but still, well, it beats the 12 seconds that Webpack used to take. I'm assuming you're talking about the build, getting up the dev and stuff like that. Yeah, it used to take a long time with Webpack, even longer. It used to take nearly a minute when I was on my last computer. All right, cool. So I've just made a mistake. Unit tests, once again, actually found them. I'm going to dismiss those things. Oh, yes, I did. Sorry, just noticed something very curious next to your build. The inherent cost of a run statement is very different between Podman, Docker, and BuildX. In Podman, it costs at least 800 milliseconds, and Docker plus BuildX somehow do it in 400 milliseconds. Ah, yes, I did miss your message. All right, I was on a different page, so yeah. Oh, okay. The inheritance cost. Yeah. I've never delved too far into it, so. Alright, I'm just going to put on dark mode again. So all of that should be running now. And now if we go into our tests. Yep, into our tests. So we've set the screen height, mobile. Alright, cool. We do all of this. We're making sure that is running. That is now working. Let's actually... Let's undo that. Let's test to see if the nav works. And it looks like it's all tests are done in that. Yeah, as far as I can find on the interwebs, no one has ever delved very deep into this topic, at least out in the open. Fair enough, yeah. And Hazel Dev, how are you going? I hope you're going good today. It's amazing to see you again. I'm also learning React whilst having your you on the side screen. Love your entry. Cheers. Thank you very much, Hazel Dev. I said your name wrong the first time. Sorry, I didn't see the N. So, yeah. Welcome back. Hopefully you're going well. We are wrapping up very shortly, though. Yeah. I need some sleep tonight. So yeah. All right. All of those tests should have run. I'm gonna, just because I'm being a bit paranoid, I'm gonna run the unit tests again to make sure that they are all working. They are all working. Sweet. And what we could do also is npm run coverage. We'll let that run. All right, cool. So if we have a look at the coverage documentation up here, so this is coverage, this will be the index. I'm sorry, this looks horrible. I'm gonna have to turn that off. Sorry, the coverage mode is in light mode, but we can see the source, the app one is pretty much almost done. I don't know where there's a branch. I think there's a branch there. Not sure. There's a branch probably somewhere. All right, we'll go back to all files. We've done the source. We've got to mock up source components dashboard. That one's got a 0 at the moment. We haven't actually touched that one just yet. But once again, we'll write unit tests for all of these. We've got the header, so we haven't done the toggles but we know that renders out perfectly fine, and yeah. And I can understand why the amount of tooling I have to build to even begin doing the actual research is somewhat significant. Oh, but that would also make a very interesting blog post too, so yeah. Alright, I am liking this. We've got the route, we've got the index. Now, I don't know if we haven't tested those yet. But we'll come back at another day for that. Not even thinking about the massive variety in runtime variations I need/want to test against with tooling done. Fair enough. Rather make something more akin to a research paper, not an academic, just a nerd. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, I am probably gonna have to call it here just because I am starting to fade and I do need to actually sleep tonight. So we are going to raid Togglebit today. So yeah, it's been a little while. For those on YouTube, sadly you won't be able to join us with the raid, but don't forget to like and subscribe. It actually does help the channel. Yeah. What am I doing? I'm hoping that I'll be here on Wednesday and Friday. We will be continuing on with the mock-up. So I am, oops, there is an ad break. Damn it, I thought I snoozed that, but I didn't. All right, cool. Anyway, we are going to raid. All right, thank you very much everyone for being here, and I shall see you guys next time. So yeah, thank you.